Last night I cried, and many other nights I cried too, because it seemed like if there was a God, he hated me. He always had, and he always would. I never caught a break. I had an abusive mother who would never love me. At 16, she started kicking me out the house for almost anything at all, and being homeless will really become a thing for me. Most of the times when she kicked me out, I didn't have nowhere to go. People would be afraid to have me at their home because I was a minor. I would spend the earlier half of my days clinging to my neighborhood friendships, pretending I wanted to just hang out. When night would come and my neighborhood friends would go in for the day, I would hang out with local drug dealers who stayed out all night making money, or even spend the night at a random guy's house just to have somewhere to sleep. Nothing felt unsafe. My youngest sister would let me in the house some mornings when my mother would leave for work, and I tried to get as much sleep as I could in case I had to spend the night pretending to wait on the bus or walking up and down the street. It seemed like the more I had a fear of being homeless, the more I wouldn't have a place to stay. Homelessness would become more chronic for me. I would sofa surf at different people's homes after I turned 18, but my years of physical and emotional abuse from my mother created a defense in me that didn't recognize the good from the bad in people. No one was a good person, and believing that caused me to burn a lot of bridges with good people. I normalized abuse and being homeless, and it was a cycle I always found myself in. My romantic relationships would pick up the abuse where my mother left off at, and I would go back to burning bridges, trying to escape whatever recent abusive relationship I would just return to anyway, in an attempt to avoid going to the homeless shelter with my children. 2014 would be the turning point of my life where, no matter how hard I prayed, how much I went to church, and how much effort I put into trying to be a better person, I just couldn't catch a break. I was pregnant with my 4th child and fighting to keep the children I did have. My husband was beating on me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I was tired. He kicked my ass for the last time in front of our first baby, who normalized those beatings, and I called the police and they took him to jail. Except doing that would have me resourceless. The police took me to the same homeless shelter that I was trying to avoid, and for almost 2 years, that would become our residence. Last night I cried because I just couldn't believe this was life. If there's a God, he hates me. He always has, and he always will. Here I am looking at my kids who I can't help. I can't even help myself. Last night we spent the day in a shelter where they served flavorless food. A bus picked us up and brought us to a church where we slept on cots and foldable mattresses on the basement floor in a room full of homeless families. They cut the lights out at 8:30 like we're all kids or in jail, and woke us up at 5 a.m. This can't be my life. I don't even know how to explain this to my kids whose faces riddled with confusion. Christmas is in 2 weeks. What am I supposed to do? Last night I cried because it ain't no turning back. My whole body aches because at this same time yesterday, I was fighting to keep the life I'm carrying because my husband wanted to fight again. I've already called the police and he's in jail. The charges are being filed whether I want this to happen or not. I don't feel safe. The residential shelters are all full, and the ones that protect women escaping abuse, they waitlisted. The case managers gave me a piece of paper that had a plan on how not to die if my husband gets out of jail. Basically, stay away from the places he might go, this paper says. Maybe if I do see him, I can throw the paper at him and it'll build a protective shield that will buy me enough time to run away really quick with 5 months worth of baby inside me. This can't be real. On TV, the abused women get a nice shelter with a cool roommate and a new name. I got a cot and a plan on printer paper. As I'm taking my kids to school, I'm thinking about how I don't know what's next. This homeless shelter is extended stay, and I hate that I have to tell them that. I feel sad for my oldest kids. This has to be tough. My oldest son is so disappointed. He's making suggestions for places we should go, and I only tell him no. He doesn't need to know that I've burned bridges with all his resources. They have a dad that wants custody of them, and I'm too selfish to relinquish it because living for them is the only reason I haven't killed myself. We transition between 3 shelters in a day. One that has showers and serve breakfast and lunch. The other where we eat a dinner and wait on that bus. And then the church where we get the little mattress and cot. And there's periods in between where you have to wait in the cold because the shelters have the nerve to have business hours. That from one shelter to the next, it's at least a 30-minute to 1 hour wait for them to open. My baby is getting sick, and the family we slept next to has had on masks because their youngest child has the flu. I'm too depressed to do anything, but I have to take this baby to the hospital because she probably has the flu too. I can't even begin to make a plan because I don't make enough money for a plan. I'm not the kind of person that should be in a homeless shelter. I dress nice, smell good, I keep my hair and nails done, I work. Homeless people don't work. Before all this happened, I was going to church every Sunday, was giving the church 10% of my income every month, reading the Bible every day and making the conscious efforts to give my life to Christ. This is how I know he hates me. He always has, and he always will. Even when I'm being faithful, he's doing his favorite thing to do to me. He's paying me back in more adversity. The more I love him, the more pain I get, from people included.
Why you wanna fly, blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. Ain't no place big enough to hold all the tears you gon' cry. 'Cause your mama's name was lonely and your daddy's name was pain, and they call you Little Sorrow, 'cause you'll never love again. So why you wanna fly, blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. Why you wanna fly, blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. You ain't got no one to hold you. You ain't got no one who cares. If you only understand it, nobody wants you anywhere. So why you wanna fly, blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. Why you wanna fly, blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. You ain't got no one to hold you. You ain't got no one who cares. Why you
I phoned a friend. I just need somebody to pour my problems into. She listens. She understands. You're manifesting this, she tells me. She believes that every time I speak negatively on God's feelings towards me, that it's an outcome, that it's a request for the outcome I receive. And a part of me wonder if that's true. I mean, I felt negative my whole life, and it's definitely been a shit show. I go on Google to research how to be and feel more positive. Other positive seekers said I should practice gratitude. I should work on being more grateful for the things that is. I would spend my whole day being thankful. Thank you that I have a car. Thank you for my kids. Thank you for this and thank you for that. If it was something good, I was thankful for it. Practicing gratitude shifted my mood, and I wanted to do more to stay in that space. I got back on Google. Meditate, it said. I started practicing gratitude and meditating. I was feeling better, and the other people would tell me that I looked different. One person that kept trying to figure out what that difference was, since I hadn't changed my hair, neither lost or gained weight, noted that it was just a glow. She said I had a glow that she hadn't seen before, and when I thought about it, I did look brighter, and I felt better. My mood was lighter. I was more kind and patient, and the friendships I was building were more positive and warm. Meditation and gratitude was working, and it was obviously making me look different. I started incorporating both writing positive affirmations and speaking changes I wanted into existence. And by the time 365 days was surpassed, I would have discovered that a lot of those things would have happened. For the first time ever, I was feeling optimistic. I mean, I was still having negative moments, but I was handling them differently. What I was doing was working. Because meditating and gratitude were going so well, I decided I needed to heal from childhood and relationship traumas, and I went back to Google. I filed for a divorce, and with no contact going on almost 2 years now, I started therapy. I've been in therapy for a year now, and my practices also includes positive self-talk and self-care moments. Then right at the time I'm laying down for the night, I go back to a sad memory from my childhood, and I talk to the younger version of myself. I tell her how much I love her and how valuable she is. She was chosen to experience that adversity, and one day her story will encourage someone else that's fallen down to stand back up. Then I hug her and I tell her I love her again, and sometimes I cry myself to sleep. I'm not completely healed, but I'm definitely healing. And it feels good to finally feel good. I see what God was doing, and it was always out of love. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody. Now I would like to share something that I wrote when I was 16 years old. Last night I cried. Last night I cried from a feeling deep inside me. It hurt me bad inside and made my mind hide from me. I hurt quite deep with a feeling, not really pain. I can't quite speak of my chilly heart or silly shame. My tears drowned me in my time, made my heart without beat. I almost lost my mind, but I was stuck to my seat. I couldn't really find my shine, I had hurt to defeat, so I found some time with lines because I felt incomplete. I didn't really see a sign, but the grapevine became of me. I had dry tears and a broken line, kind of crying to the side of the front to the behind of me. I couldn't really stand because my legs was without walk. I felt banned from the land of the free man to talk. All I could do was dwell on a thought like, Last night I cried. It felt like hell had been bought and fire sailed on my pride. I could tell by the stale of tears and the pale of my face that I had hurt not so well, my heart beat so frail. I had fell from my place. And I had to break from my shell cause my yell was without here like a deep voice with no bass. The alphabet was without L and I couldn't spell out my fear like a sweet walk with no pace, but I was in a race with my mind half closed, half thinking. My heart steady, swole pain sinking. I was on the road moving slow like a drunk man still drinking, and I felt like the weakest Lincoln slinking to the center of my hurt. And now I'm clinking to this thinking feeling as I enter this working world of just dirt. I can't work. I'm still crying last night, God grant me the serenity. I'm trying not to fight cause the whole world ain't my enemy. But infinity is too big and it seems like it's winning me. Last night I cried, but outside I just pretended to be done with the pain that has haunted me endlessly. Now I'm mending me. Is it a sin to just be me? Or does sin sit within and hide skin deep? My tears is in my pen and I can write 10 sheets. Nobody knows how far I've been. Lips above my chin, please speak. Next week I'll cry again and sign with tears sweet. And I weep when I hurt. No more rain on my pride. And sleep with peace till I be telling y'all that last night my tears dried and I just can't cry.